the topic that's been on my mind and in a lot of my current clients right now is thinking about what the culture tells us our career is supposed to look like.
Right.
And in the same way that a lot of us did with our lives of like, do we really want 1.25 children and a white picket fence and like what the dream like is that
Right.
I don't want white, I want blue or something else.
Right.
But and maybe it's the change in seasons here in the Northern Hemisphere of like, settling into, at least here in Alaska, like the next very long season, sort of 9 months
Yes.
of winter. And of like, is this really what I want? And is it the flavor of like, does it have to look like going to an office in a suit, climbing the corporate ladder, doing the thing? Or is it enough to just figure out how to make your life work? Like, do you have to have this amazing career that's passion filled and grr, all the things? Or is like, can it just be work and you
Right.
enjoy it and love it and it pay the bills and
Right.
enable the rest of your life and your kids and all the, things that you really want to do? So that's what's kind of been on the top of the, a lot of topics in the last couple of weeks.
I can see that. One of the things Maria and I had discussed earlier today was something that we have both kind of noticed is like communication between people of either lack of communication because of being remote or communicating not as kindly and just how that's putting a lot of pressure on a lot of people in the workplace on
Hmm.
just not feeling that connection. And I feel like we've lost some of that connection in the last few years with one another, especially because so many jobs are now remote
Hmm.
and everything like that. Have you seen any of that or heard that
Yep.
from people
Yep.
too?
I feel like there's a huge, like the bigger, so and I come from a technology background. I have, 25 years in tech. And and I see a lot of trends like come and go. I was in tech when the internet happened, so I'm old. And like, like, I remember Betamax, like if you're that old, you know what I'm talking about. So things come and go, and there's always this counter reaction. And what I'm seeing is the more AI, the more virtual, the more digital, the more remote we get, the more our human nature kicks in. And we're like, I'm seeing a push for retreats and for live and for in person, and which I've never really, people are normally like, Alaska, like, it's easier to go to the moon. Um, and they're like, you're gonna have in-person events. I'm like, sure, like you're gonna come. That would be
Right,
great. But really a push for like live in person, because I think we can't run from our human nature too long before
right.
it forces itself on
Yes.
us. So I think we're gonna see a lot more. And I'm not an advocate for return to the workplace either, because I'm also like, I mean, I don't know that we need that. I don't know that that was the right solution. We have to go back to the factory.
Right.
But
There has to be
um,
some kind of balance in there.
yeah, but I do think there is some sort of human push where, like,
Right.
the more digital it gets, we saw it in music when everything went digital, and the prediction was that live performance was dead. And I was in the music industry at the time.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were like, live performance is dead. You'll never see another, orchestral performance in your life. And that is literally, we just saw, Miss Allison
Taylor
Taylor
Swift is a prime
Swift.
example of how
like,
that's
I'm like,
not true.
I feel like that was
Yeah.
so supremely not true. So I think we always see that backlash. I think we're at an inflection point where we really have to reimagine what this is. Feel like we're still in the factory model.
Right.
That's old. It's like we haven't reimagined it. Um, I think right now we're in the push-pull of it.
Right.
But I think we have to spend some time of like, well, what do we want? What does it look like?
Right. And I just feel like it's just interesting times, especially here in the US. There's just a lot of anxiety right now going on around us,
Mhm.
just with everything kind of up in the air and all the changes that are happening. And so I feel like that anxiety is being transferred into the workplace, it's being transferred
Mhm.
into our homes, it's all around. And I feel like that's just really affecting how we're all living life. And it's not just work. That stress then it bleeds into all aspects of your life. And I just feel like that's really happening a lot right now.
Yeah, and and all stress affects communication. Like communication is what the last thing that was installed in the human being, so we suck at it most. It's our least skilled area.
Yeah.
And so the more stress there is, the worse it gets. And it's also change of season and it's back to school. And like I was like, oh, the holidays are coming up. Like, here we go.
Yep.
And so that ramps up stress and it's going to decrease our communication. So even just taking a beat and noticing that and being like, okay, I might need to communicate more clearly or have more patience or
Mhm.
make fewer assumptions or assume I didn't say it clearly enough
Right.
or do it in writing and, multiple formats.
Right.
Um, just because we know when the things get stressed, our weakest link falls apart first, and that's
Absolutely.
communication.
I saw a meme and there's only 8 Fridays. And I immediately felt that stress level come up
Yeah.
and I went, what? That means from this Friday you have 8 Fridays until Christmas? Are you kidding?
Yeah. Yeah. And in the
Plus
comments,
four.
like, yep, fourth quarter reporting. And you're like, I've
Yes.
already failed at my year. We
Right.
were just at New Year's. I'm not accomplishing
Right.
anything.
Totally.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that that communication, and that's where it's affecting all of us. And like you said, we need to make sure that we do our part because we can't control others. So we need to be extra clear. We need to be more patient. We need to, do all of those things in order to help out on that. So, Shannon, there are a lot of people right now that are looking for new jobs. Do you have some advice you'd like to give?
Yes.
Mhm.
One is super normal. Back the fall is when that happens. That is back to school. There's something about it's called the October phenomenon or the October theory, or there's a name. They name everything now.
They
So
have
there's a name
neighbor.
for that. So you're not alone. You're not weird. But also my advice before any tool that I give somebody is not what job do you want, what life do you want? What
Yes.
kind of lifestyle do you want? Figure out your life and then figure out how your career fits into it.
Mhm.
Because speaking from experience, if you chase a career event, like it will never be fully satisfying because that's not its job. That's
Right.
not it's like trying to be fulfilled by a partner. Like you're my everything. You're like, you're a human being.
Right.
Like you can fulfill some things.
Right. You're going to disappoint me though.
Yeah, like that's because it's not your job.
Right. Right.
But I would say really spend some time and the fall and the winter, it's winter for me already. We have snow. So like it's a good time to start thinking about, what kind of life do I want? Do you want to be at home? Do you want to be in person? Do you just want to wash dishes for a living? Do you need a fancy title? I know I went through that where I was like getting rid of the golden handcuffs was really hard because it was
Right.
fancy, but I hated it.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have a simple life. How much money do you need to make?
Right.
Do you just think you need to make $1 billion? Because that's what, every ad on YouTube tells you.
Right.
Um,
And it goes
or-
back to kind of what we were talking about earlier on just because this is what society tells us is what we need to have, is that really what you want to have? Do you really need to be making $1 billion? What,
Mhm.
really?
Yeah. And also like, what do you want? And I will also add like, what is the evidence of your life? Like you've spent enough hours on this planet to have some evidence.
Yeah.
What is the evidence tells you makes you happy and content? Because you can be like, I want a this, that, and the other. You like, and like I'll give you an example. Like I always think like more, better. If I buy this thing, then, I get on that hedonistic treadmill like immediately. I'm like, oh, if I just buy this thing on Amazon, then it'll change everything. And when I'm happiest is when I have to make it work. When
Right.
I'm like, oh, I got duct tape and half a popsicle stick. What are we gonna make for dinner? You know, like
Right. Right.
and chop that up and make spaghetti somehow. Um, and it's counterintuitive to me because I would think like, oh, this is more efficient, it's better, it's nicer, but I'm not happier. Evidence shows I'm not happier that way. I'm happier when I'm having to figure it out because I
Right.
like the problem solving piece. So you can go at it from that as well.
I'll say too, Shannon, I really love where this is going in the sense of getting down to what's really essential. And I'm with you on the decluttering thing that does help us. It really does help us focus. And I know it may sound silly, but your environment does affect you. So
Oh,
I love where that went in terms of simplifying. Thank you.
yes, yes, 100%. When I feel like the more my house is cluttered, the more my mind is cluttered, and I just feel stress and more stress and anxious. So it's all about that simplifying, especially with people working at home. I feel like that's happening more and more, and you just like again, if your space is cluttered, then your work environment is cluttered as well. So
Can I add something to that? Just
please,
as a counter. Because I think people are different,
yeah,
just
oh
how you
yeah,
were raised. Like I was raised in a super tidy household, so I had to learn to be messy,
yeah.
um, and not have anxiety. But I think where decluttering is really helpful in careers, especially if you're in a space of wanting something new. Sometimes in the human mind, if you go head on to something and you're like, what do I want for my career? I need a new one. It's kind of like when your mom is like, what do you want? You're like, I don't know. I don't even want anything.
Right.
But for a lot of people, cleaning up the house, it's a very familiar, comforting place where it's like your mind, you can kind of sneak up on it,
Hmm.
by cleaning out your bathroom cabinet. Like as you clean up the bathroom cabinet, you're like, actually, what I want to do is this other thing. And you can kind of let your mind ease into there instead of like, pounding the answer out of it and trying to strangle it out. And it's just like any argument, you're like, you're not going to get anywhere. You kind of
Right.
have to be in a calm place. And I think decluttering and cleaning the yard and all of that sort of stuff can help your mind relax enough so that you can think about it.
Yes, yes, I agree. Like gardening, doing mindless. I mean, mindless.
Taking
Yeah,
like
that's
this.
when I start thinking. I had to buy little markers for the shower so that when we were thinking or had ideas, you could write them on the shower. Because otherwise, by the
What?
time you get out, you forget. So you can write them on the shower, and
I need
then
links to those, Mark. That's such a brilliant idea.
yeah, the little, because the kids have the little washable markers that you can put in bathtubs, use on bathtubs.
Really?
And
I don't have
so, so
children,
you can
so
just,
this is news to me.
yes, so it's great because then you just write on the wall while you're in there because
Oh,
you're having amazing ideas. And then you take a picture of it or write it down, and then you write it down. You don't forget. You're like, because for me, if I get out of the shower, then I'm like, oh, I had a
yeah.
wonderful idea in there, but I don't remember what it was. But if you write it there, then you remember and take a picture. Plus the writing
Man, I
down
love that. That's like
helps.
worth the price of entry right there.
Woohoo! There's your tip for today. If you like to take
Washable
a shower,
markers.
buy
Who knew?
the bath markers. Thank you for being here today, and we will see you all tomorrow.